see if anybody joins in. It's kind of an odd time, I guess, to do a live, right? But I mean, beggars can't be choosers. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. So, excuse me. It's muy. It's really cold out here. If you guys can't tell, but I gotta do what I gotta do for the moment. Maybe if I go this way, maybe the light will be better. Yeah, like that, a little bit better. Like that lighting a little bit better. Get situated here. Thank you for everybody that's joining in. Appreciate you. Um, I just kind of wanted to hop on for a minute. I ain't been around for a live in quite some time. So I wanted to chop it up with you guys. Kind of wanted to talk about the end of the year. And these gnats, what the fuck is this? I wanted to talk about the end of the year. I wanted to talk about just the cigar reviews, the end of the year list. A lot of people had some really cool lists. A lot of people had some really cool shows. Hey, if y'all are in here, let me know if you can hear me well. Thanks for hitting that like button. Let me, because I don't know how my setup is. I don't know if my headphones are working, just the microphone. So y'all let me know. Um, let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or something if y'all can hear me well. Wanted to talk about the end of the year list. Want to kind of get into that bag a little bit, and want to talk about a couple cigars while we are at it. And I kind of wanted to talk about a little spot in the industry right now, especially people who are doing reviews right now. All right, cool. Thank you for letting me know everything's good. Appreciate y'all. Especially with like we got new reviewers, and I'm leaving the review game. What up, though? I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm actually great. I'm in a great mood. I'm in a great space. This is my second cigar of the year, so I really haven't been smoking cigars like that. So I'm kind of excited to get back, just sit back, smoke a cigar, and chop it up with you guys. But I really want to talk about like the review game, especially like after everything that was happening with my channel, and you know how that kind of back and forth was going, and really being able to support other reviewers is important to me. And while I'm at that, while I'm saying that right now, if you guys are not subscribed to Cigar Alchemist, go to John's page, the Cigar Alchemist, and subscribe to my friend. And he's like 11 away from 1K, and I really feel like that cat needs to be a lot higher than 1K. Dude has, like, his end of the year list is probably one of my favorites between him and Michael Frisdale. I really enjoy how in-depth their end of the year review was. What the fuck are these things, man? I really, I really enjoy how they did their breakdown, man. I just thought it was phenomenal. I just watched Cigar Side Chat's top 3, and it's kind of cool to see somebody that's new getting into the game. But we're gonna talk about all that. But support my man John, man. Y'all go give him a subscribe, and we are about to light up the Aviator series right here. So you guys know that I've been real high on Principal cigars lately. So this is Smoke Your Best Cigars. So Principal has been some of the best. So why not smoke one of the best? And I've heard really good things about this one. I don't know if it's gonna top that Black Gold. That was my #1. I don't think anybody was expecting that to be my #1. I wasn't expecting it to be my #1. But the way that I made my list for this year, it was the first half of the year started off really bad for me. Like my marriage was in jeopardy, my job situation was in jeopardy, my time in Japan was in jeopardy, just my family life, not just my wife and kids, but like my personal family life was in jeopardy. I was at an existential crisis. I didn't know if I was gonna continue doing reviews at all anymore. I didn't know if, I was gonna stay on YouTube. I didn't know if I was gonna continue with cigars. I just didn't know. Like, I was in such a rough place. And it was really, thank you for everybody hit that like button, man. I appreciate y'all. And it was really one of those things that, like, the profiles, I didn't care about none of that shit, man. I was here for a while. Salute to you, RL. I was really in a tough place. But when things kind of, like, I started putting my life back together, I started putting the pieces back together a little bit, and I kind of got myself back in a healthier mindset and got myself back in a healthier place. Shout out to Black Cigar Company too. But after I got myself back in a better place, I started to enjoy cigars again. And when I did that, I started making my list. And honestly, when I did a review and I really thoroughly enjoyed a cigar, and it was a cigar that like caught my attention and made me like, oh, that was amazing. If it was the American, if it was the Angel Cuesta, if it was the Amazon, whatever it was during the year that was like, if it really stung the brain, and I was just like, oh, I would just go in my notes and I would just put it in there, best cigar of 2023. I didn't. Peter, what up, man? Hope you had a good time with the kids today, man. Sorry about the Eagles, but it was one of those things where it's like I was just throwing it in there. I didn't have any kind of order. I wasn't saying this one was my favorite, this one was the best, this one was this, that, and the third. I literally was just kind of taking the note down. This is a cigar I enjoyed for this year. And then when the end of the year would come, I would just kind of take those notes, and then I would go back and I would watch a review. I would watch a review, and I would just go back and think about the cigar and just kind of put my, I said go Steelers. I would put my list together, and I would just kind of, just think about like, okay, how did I feel about the cigar? Did it change my opinion of the cigar? Did it change my opinion of the brand? Is it a cigar that I want to keep going back to and want to keep smoking? And that's kind of how I made the list. And so when I got to the end of it, and I was comparing like which is better, which is my favorite, would I rather have this cigar over the others, which one would made the best impression, that kind of thing, just doing my own personal criteria, that Black Gold was untouchable. And I wasn't even expecting that. Like, I really didn't think that was going to be the cigar that was going to have me like, oh my God, this is going to blow me away. I thought it was going to be something from Saka. I thought it was going to be like the Terry Blanche was phenomenal. Like, I love that cigar. I went back and watched the reviews. Like, damn, I was enjoying the cigar. And I was surprised when I finished the list that cigar ended up in the honorable mentions. And it went back and forth quite a bit. It went back and forth a lot. But at the end of the day, I hate that saying too. At the end of the day, I hate that saying. But for this one, at the end of the day, when I really sat down and went through everything, the chips fall where they were. So that's kind of it. What am I smoking? This is the Aviator series by Principal Cigars. That's what we lighten up today, man. That's what's a part of Smoke Your Best Cigars. That's kind of what got me on that topic, talking about Principal Black Gold. I really have been enjoying Principal. It's cold as a bitch out here, and I'm not really liking my draw this time around. But we're gonna see. Hopefully they'll open it up. I always get these black ass lighters. My lighters won't even light, man. What the fuck? I can't see a flame. Hey Victor, man, thank you. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Was the top 10, man. And since you guys are in the chat, everybody has been really great about the support for the top 10 list, especially being that these are the final top 10 lists. I got one more that I'm gonna record like right after I'm done doing this. I'm gonna get a shower, wash the sweat off, wash the smoke off, and then I'm gonna do another recording for my final top 10 list, man. It's gonna be my top 10 all time. So my man Peter from Cigar Collector said he already know my whole top 10 list. So I wanna see, Peter, what I really want you to do, man, I would love if you just do a mock top 10 list that you think would be my top 10. And then I want to see like how close you are to my top 10. Like if you get super close, man, that would make me so fucking happy, dude. I would love it if you take the time to do that. It's a lot more roastier than I thought this would be. And for whatever reason, this side doesn't want to light. Bomba clot, man. What why? I didn't even bring her back up. I don't always have lighter issues, man. Shouts out to everybody that hit that lighter. What up, everybody? Other Peters too, Peter M. So, you know what, man? Like doing those top 10 lists, it's such a subjective thing. It's really kind of nerve wracking to do those, man. And I think the one that I'm about to do now with the all time list is probably going to be my most difficult list of all. Cause I'm really giving y'all the top 10. Like I'm telling y'all that these are my absolute favorite cigars of all time. Like out of everything that I've ever smoked, these are gonna be the absolute best cigars that I've ever smoked. And they're my favorites. And I know it's just my opinion, but one thing that you gotta admit, man, is like when you're doing this thing, like you are an influencer, right? You are, so many people come into the inbox and be like, "Hey, man, I smoked this cigar because you mentioned it, and I tried this cigar because you had it in whatever list or whatever thing that you did." And that shit matters to the viewers of the channel. So when I'm doing my all time, you guys are looking at this as my absolute favorites, man, and that's a lot of pressure. Just got done smoking a soccer con. You were out there smoking for a while, Sam, because that cigar is a slow burner, man. I love that cigar, but it's a slow burner. Yo, I don't think it is a limited edition, man. To my knowledge, it's not limited edition. I think you can actually get that one on market, and it's Principal. Principal is not it's such a boutique brand, but I'm pretty sure if you are searching for that black gold, you should be able to get it. And that cigar to me, man, it's like if you want a sweet cigar that still tastes like a cigar, and it's not like on some uh, flavor bullshit, nothing like that. It's the real deal, man. It's a delicious cigar. He said just keep that unburnt section facing up. Should correct before you lose it completely. I hope so, man. We're gonna find out. Dog, I always got lighter wolves, man. I don't know if it's the area. Because look at this, like it's completely uneven. And that's a perfect burn if I could actually get the rest of this shit to light. Most surprising cigar. That's a great motherfucking question. Mm. I'll do this two ways. The most surprising cigar that I enjoyed was the Black Madonna. Madonna Negra. That cigar caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that cigar to be as good as it was. That's why I was in my honorable mentions. I was really blown away by that cigar. It is a heavier cigar. It is like, to me, that's what the Black and M81 wanted to be. You wanted to have a robust and bold and rich and decadent cigar that has these heavy Maduro flavors, but without the harshness and without the abrasiveness of that. And that's what the Madonna Negra provided for me. So that was a surprise. I really didn't expect that to be as delicious as it was. On the negative side, and I put it in my worst review, was the Wagashi. And I'm glad Steve Sockett actually came back into the post and kind of explained like his perspective on that. And I think that was actually a cool thing, that one, that he was watching the show, two, that he actually cared about my opinion, and three, that he actually cares so much about his brand and about like how people approach it. But he always is so even keel about it, and he was very thoughtful in his response. But to me, with the Wagashi, I guess it's the same thing that I was saying to Brian from Pravada, that like when you are promoting a name on your cigar, and you're giving it something like Wagashi, is something that is like very important here in Japan. Like these little pastries are all over the place, and like they sell all over the place. They could be really expensive, they could be really affordable, and you're kind of expecting a certain flavor profile when you get that. And to me, the Wagashi was like really, really more mild than I expected it to be. And I'm okay with a mild Connecticut. Like you can have a mild Connecticut and still have it be delicious with the Portoro Terry Blanche. It can happen, you know, and that's not unheard of. I got all these fucking gnats, man. I don't know if y'all can see them on camera. These things are huge. The fuck? It's like billions of them. But I guess with me, I'm expecting him to kind of like with how intricate he is with his blending, that I was gonna get a mild cigar, and I was gonna get a Connecticut, and I wanted a Connecticut, but I thought it was gonna give me a lot more on the sweet profile. I thought it was gonna be like that sweetness that you got with the Sobra Mesa, but less of the spice. That's what I was hoping for, but I did want a little bit of that spice in there. Does that make sense? Y'all feel where I'm coming from? So those are my two surprises, man. Fabulous, what up, homie? What it do? It's even out a little bit, man. It's done a lot better, and you know, since I couldn't relight it, so I'm glad it held on. Appreciate the advice on that too. Um, so am I still gonna be doing lives with the new wave? Yeah, yeah. The lives are gonna keep going. The lives are gonna keep going. This live is gonna keep going. Smoke Your Best Cigars live is gonna keep going, and I'm sorry I haven't been around for the new wave, and I'll explain that in a little bit too. Those are my home. I was saying, yo, go show some love and subscribe to my man John. Make sure y'all get him above 1K, because the dude deserves it. He's just good people. They're my homies. Right now, Matt is really sick. Y'all probably watch his channel. Y'all know he can't really talk right now. His voice is gone. He sound like Steve-O. I've been giving him shit in the group chat that he sound like Steve-O, which is funny as fuck to me. But that's just me. But I've been gone. I've been bouncing around Japan for the past 2 weeks. So I haven't had the time to just hang out with the fellas and to really make a lot of content. Like I had to force myself to get the end of the year list out. So now I'm back home. I'm getting settled in, and the reviews are dead, but the lives are still going. And I'm gonna be kicking it with the fellas. Shout out to everybody, hit that like button too. He said, yes, I bought those EP Carrillos, and this is my man Big Lim. Said I bought those EP Carrillo cigars due to your recommendation, which were a change of pace from the Connecticut's I like. Yeah, and that's good. You know, you got to be able to kind of separate from that. You got to be able to say like, oh, let me try these. Let me go to the Habano here. Let me go to the Sumatra. Let me try all these other blends just to see what works out. You got to try Maduros here and there. I mean, it's important. And for me, you know, I wonder what EP Carrillo thinks about my opinion, especially the last couple of videos that I put out. I wasn't really kind to the Allegiance, and it's just like that cigar just didn't do it for me. I have more, and I've been trying to give them time to age and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like, yo, if this cigar came out of production and you promoted it that heavy, it really shouldn't have to be a cigar that I gotta sit and let age for however long to actually get a good flavor profile out of that. It was really disappointing. But when it comes to the Pledge, it's such a good cigar. I speak highly of it. The La Astoria was good. I enjoyed that cigar. The Encore, I thought that was fit right in the middle. And you know, they're all different flavor profiles. So the Allegiance, I'm expecting that to fit within that trilogy, and it just threw me off, man. So it's like that sometimes. He said, I was surprised you didn't like Long Live the Queen by Caldwell. I must have gotten a good batch. No, man, it's just your palate. That cigar worked for your palate. And I'm not mad at that. You know, I just had to be completely honest with my opinions on the cigars that I smoked for the year. And I did the same thing. Like, it took a lot more effort to make the worst list than it did to make the best list. Because the best cigars were just coming out like this to me. And it was so many cigars. I had well over 10, and I had well over the 15 that made the honorable mentions. It was some really good cigars this year. Original plush, right? That's what you want. But when it came to the worst list, there were a few cigars that were just like, And honestly, when it got down to the end of the year, I only had about 5 that made the list. That was just like off the top of my head. And that cigar was #1 the majority of the time. And here's the thing. I really tried to give Caldwell, just as a brand, the respect, because I know a lot of people love, Robert Caldwell. I know a lot of people love the Lost and Found series. I know a lot of people love Caldwell, but and they're beautiful looking cigars. And I'm not just saying that, just trying to play nice. I'm not saying that. But when I actually have the cigar, it never works for me. Like, they never just do what they're supposed to do for me. And that cigar was so freaking beautiful. I said, I'm gonna try this in multiple vitolas and see if it works with my palate. Like, I completely went in unbiased with an open mind. I'm gonna like this cigar, and let's see what happens. And it just never works. So it had to, make my number one for the cigars that I didn't like, man. Like, it's rare that I put out cigars and it's like, okay, I'm just done. I'm not gonna smoke the cigar anymore. I put that cigar out. I put out Lee Mack cigar, and I did it on a live. Like, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just like, I'm just giving my honest opinion. And for me, there's only like a couple brands that I just really can't get with, especially the popular brands. Like Caldwell, I can't work with his cigars, and Michael Herklotz and his cigars with, that Nat Sherman, the Timeless and all that. I like Ferry Otego, I can't get into those cigars. I do not like them. And I feel like, you got to be honest with your opinion. You got to be upfront. I almost feel like I'm kicking these dudes while they're down. Like, you can tell with Michael Herklotz that he's trying to get people to like his cigars. And he's trying to get people to understand the nuance to his cigars. And I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. And like, when I see him like trying to hype it up, I feel like, yo, who are you trying to convince, yourself or us? Let the cigars speak for themselves. And I think they're doing what they do. But I respect other people's opinion on how they feel about those cigars. Like, I'm never gonna tell anybody because I don't like it that you shouldn't like it either. I don't do that. I try not to. I tell everybody, hey, go out and smoke it for yourself and see what experience you get from it. Let's see. Victor said, let's see, before I get to Victor. Callie, what up? Eric, what up? I was supposed to, okay, I already read that one. Yeah, you killed the Allegiance. Encore was my favorite thus far. Encore is really good, man. I'm not mad at that. I enjoyed that. What up, Alex? The only Long Live the Queen size I enjoyed was the Lancero. And that's funny that you say that, because the Lancero, I never got back to that. Because I smoked all the other ones and I was like, I just didn't like them. And I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm not doing it, And it may work for the Lancero because it may have like a much more concentrated flavor profile. It's just, I don't feel like fighting with it. Let's see, Mr. Fowler said, I'm smoking a Padron 80th. That's my favorite tobacco, but respect it when people say they like it or they don't like it. I haven't had the 80th yet. I don't think. I don't like, because people have been telling me to try the 80th and 90th, but I respect, Padron for what it is. It's just not my thing. I don't dislike them. I'll smoke them if I got them. I'm not like so opposed to it. Like, if it's a Ferry Otego or if it's a Caldwell, in most cases I'm not gonna smoke those cigars. I'm just not into them. But a Padron I can't smoke. It's just, in most cases, I'm not spending the money for a Padron. Let's see what Rob said. Rob said the only Nat Sherman that I rock with is the Host. I've never had the Host, man, so if I ever come across that, I'll try it. Yeah, but they're just so bland to me. Man, I'm just not into bland cigars. And just, hey, man, I just gotta call it like I see them. Flavors on the first third. Right now, I'm getting a lot of cedar. I'm getting like roasted coffee and kind of like a rice tea, which is really good. And it's a little bit of nuttiness in there. I haven't really taken the time to think about it, but like right before you said that, I was thinking like, okay, the nuttiness from this is going. It's kind of like almond. That's kind of what I'm getting. And so far, so good. It's not the best draw, but so far, so good. You said Bad Mofo. It's been the only Caldwell that I like. Hey, you know, at least you found one within that portfolio that you like, because I have not found one yet, and I tried. And I really think they're absolutely outstanding, and I think they're beautiful cigars. I really think they're, you know, just they look good, and his marketing and his imagery is fantastic. But I feel like it's all surface level. I haven't found anything below, you know, storyline wise. I haven't found anything personal wise that connects with that cigar, and flavor wise, it just hasn't connected. So I don't know. I will keep trying. If something comes across, man, you know, maybe something will pop up that will catch my interest. We'll see. That being said, I'm gonna give the Allegiance another chance. I'm gonna give the Wagashi another chance, and you know, I just don't feel like, you know, I can give them a complete fair shake unless I'm really trying them. The Wagashi is gonna be more difficult. It's not an easy cigar to get, especially where I am. But it's one of those things that I definitely want to see if that profile, if I catch it at another time. I was outside, it was cold as fuck when I was smoking that cigar too. So maybe that has something to do with it. He said, that's how I feel about Oliva Milanio. Really? People love it, but I can take it if offered, but won't buy it. And I feel you on that. I get you on that. To me, I like a really balanced cigar, and I like a sweet profile in there if it's naturally sweet. And I think the Pledge and Oliva V Milanio give you that, and they do it at a really good price point. And that's a cool thing to me. That's why I love the Milanio, because I really love it, because I think it's a really quality tobacco cigar at a really great price point, and it's a great everyday kick around. But that flavor profile is not going to work for everybody. Matt from Cigar Hound Dog and I go back and forth between the Magic Toast. He hates the Magic Toast. I love it. I like the bready notes, and he likes breadier cigars, but he doesn't like mineral and pepper, and you get those in that cigar. So I understand exactly where he's coming from with that, and you know, and you got to understand profiles when you're doing a list of cigars that you don't like. You got to understand where people's palates are, and you got to understand what people love and dislike about their cigar. But for me personally, that Milanio, you know, without giving away some of the things that are coming up, I really enjoy that cigar, and I speak highly of it. But I appreciate your honesty on that too. Eric said he loves the Milanio too. But yeah, some people are like some people are anti-Sumatra, and I can kind of see that. Hey man, if you want to send a pack, I appreciate you. You don't have to do that, but I'm always grateful, man. So shout out to you. Appreciate you for that, man. Have you smoked or reviewed the Rocky Patel The Edge 20th anniversary? I didn't review it. I did have it. I think I still got it, but it's packed up in my boxes. As you see, I don't have my home yet, so it's packed up in the box. I was gonna do a review for that before I cancel my reviews. I don't think I'm gonna review that one, but I do want to smoke it, so I'll give you some feedback on it once I do. My man said, Big Key, what's the knowledge? The knowledge is live every day like it's your last. That's the knowledge that we're doing. Enjoy your best cigars while you're at it. About to fire up the 4 Kicks by Crown Heads. What am I smoking? I got the Aviator by Principal. That's what we're smoking today. It's not my favorite Principal so far, but it's definitely not a dud either. Let's see. Blackbird has some nice sticks too. Love the Cuco. That was another one I was gonna mention to you, that like I really don't like Blackbird either. Sorry to be contrary. That wasn't the intent. But once again, beautiful marketing, and I can't remember his name, but he's really passionate about his cigars, and you know, so I appreciate that. I got nothing but respect for the brand. But I've tried the Cuco. I've tried like 3 or 4 of them, and none of them ever hit. And the problem is, to me, they smoke a lot like the Lost and Found series, and the way I describe it, they kind of smoke like seconds. They really haven't really open draw, and I don't like that. I like a little resistance on my draw, and I just don't really get with the flavor profiles. And to be honest, I'm like the only one that is kind of in that ballpark. The rest of the new wave, they're not mad at them or they really enjoy them. It's just me personally, I just don't really get into it. But hey, man, I'm not knocking you, man. Enjoy those, man. They're like I'm saving you a hell of a lot of Blackbird cigars. The one that I did like though, he did the one called the Vince that was with Pravada, and it was based on that movie. What was it? Whatever the movie that was based on Pool that I think Edward Norton was in. I can't remember the name of it. It was called Events. That thing was phenomenal. That was a very, 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 very good cigar. I enjoyed that thoroughly. So, you know, it's nothing. I wish he could, if he made something that had that flavor profile again, or if he re-released that cigar, I would be on it. I would love if he re-released that or made that like a dated production. Have I tried the Principal Martinique? I did. I actually just had the Martinique not too long ago, and I did a short. I did a short on that Martinique. If you go back through my shorts, I gave it an A. I really enjoyed that cigar, man. Like honestly, like Principal has really been killing it, and it took me a while to get that cigar. And I'll tell you guys a story, man, before I get into the rest of the comments. And because this has actually been kind of weighing on me. I don't know if it has anything to do with the one guy that I'm not going to mention in this, but there's another person that I'm going to mention that actually introduced me to the Martinique cigar. It wasn't Matt, it wasn't Michael, it wasn't John, it wasn't Peter, it wasn't Adam. It was somebody else that introduced me to this cigar. Spoke really highly about the cigar, and it took me a while to get it. A couple people actually sent that cigar out to me. And I really think this person actually kind of took stock in the fact that like he introduced so many people to this cigar that he felt like he took precedence over this. And I really think there's a part of him that feels like he doesn't give his respect as a reviewer, and he doesn't get his respect. I don't know what it is, but either way, this person has since blocked me, so we don't have any contact anymore. And this has really been bothering me, man. And it's like, it bothers me because he didn't come to me mano a mano. And if he felt like, that I disrespected him, or that I wasn't being a good person to him, or that, I was taking his shine and his credit, I just smoked the cigar finally. I was aging it, and I was, dry boxing it, and I was doing the whole thing, and I had to get to a point where I could actually enjoy the cigar. And I had it while I was sitting out here. I was sitting by the water, and I did a quick, short review on it. And it was a phenomenal cigar. It burns beautifully and it tastes really well, but it's just the fact that like I'm always gonna connect this guy with that cigar, and that's kind of a bittersweet memory. Like if you don't like me anymore, cool, good riddance. Live your best life. You and whoever you with, enjoy it. But I know with the other dude that I'm not naming, they're like bosom buddies now. For whatever reason, they've taken up an alliance, and I guess it's something that he feels slighted and feels like we did something to him. I don't know. I can't expect it, but like, dude, you don't own that cigar. You don't own the flavor profile. You're not the only one that smokes, more boutique cigars. There are a lot of people that smoke boutique cigars, and I smoke whatever comes to me. And I think it has something to do with Definition cigars. I think he felt like he kind of had like like he owned that brand too. And when we did the live on the new wave with Jamon, shouts out to Jamon too. He's about to release a new cigar. That I feel like that's when everything went left, and I don't know what happened, and I honestly can't tell y'all what happened with that. So that's kind of the story behind that. I did have that cigar. I do thoroughly enjoy it. If you get a chance, y'all, if you haven't had the Martinique, go out there. It burns really well. It's a great cigar. Let me catch up with this chat, man, and kind of see. Jonas Santana, I don't know what that came from. I don't know what that's about. I like the Leaf by Oscar Sumatra though. Yeah, a lot of people like the Leaf by Oscar line, especially the Sumatra. I'm not really the biggest fan of that line either. Like I haven't met too many of the Oscar Valedera cigars that I enjoy. I hear the Leaf by Oscar is the best out of them, but I gotta go based on other people's opinion. JB, man, I'm glad you joined in. What up, man? Mahalo. Hey man, I'm good to be on the live, man. I'm good to see everybody here. We got 34 people on the live for me, man. Like, thank y'all, and thank y'all for hitting that like button, man. I love coming out here, smoking my best cigars and chopping it up with y'all. I hope y'all are smoking really good too. I know it's like it's getting close to evening or it's nighttime for most of you, so enjoy your best cigars and kick it with me. It's early here for me. It's like 9 or 10 in the morning. I don't even know anymore. Luciano has a banger coming out next week. It's called The Underrated. He gave me one at the event last month. Oh, that's really cool, E. That's what's up. I rock with Luciano, man, and he's rocking with Jamon from Definition Cigars too. He seems to be like a really cool cat, and I really dig Luciano. I hate that he and the other cat kind of had a falling out. They made some good cigars together, but it is what it is. And I like what he's doing, with the title of that being underrated. I kind of feel where he's coming from on that. I think he is kind of underrated. When it was still Ace Prime instead of just Luciano, I was enjoying a lot of those cigars that came out. I thought they did really good on their marketing. I thought they really did good with the cigars, and they kind of matched the way that they were marketing cigars. The flavor profiles are really good. So I'm a fan of Luciano, man. I got nothing but love for him. So I can't wait to try that. Happy New Year to you, Mixtape. Shout out to you, man. I hope everybody's having a great New Year. That's for everybody. So you see them? You see all these fucking gnats? I hope everybody's having a great year. I'm having a great year so far. It's been crazy. That's something I want to talk about too. I'm gonna talk about my New Year here in Japan in a minute, but I wanted to talk these lists and I wanted to talk these cigars first before I got into all of that, my personal shit. Sometimes you gotta let people go. Yeah, man, and that's real, and that's real. But it's just to me like, I feel like we're men, and we're talking over cigars, and and the whole thing about these cigars is supposed to bring people together, and help people to connect and build a community, and you should be able to like have a sit down and talk. He got my personal information. He could have called me on a live and on a not live, but he could have called me on a video chat, or he could have emailed me. He could have texted me. He could just talk to me and just say, hey man, this is what's going on, or I felt like you disrespected with this, or just let me know, and we could correct it. But if he's not living that way, so be it. If you're gonna be a punk about it and you can't even express your feelings, hey man, it is what it is. Oh, Jonas Santana, my man, thank you for that, my man. Yeah, and I dig that cat, man. I really love his approach to his cigars. I love people that are passionate about their company. Like, I love Saka for that. I love Nick Melillo for that. Jamon is really passionate about all of his cigars from Definition Cigars. I feel like Luciano is the same way. The cat that owns CAO, the way he talks about his father and the Osgood family, like he's really passionate about his cigars, man, and that draws me into a lot of these blenders. So Santana, man, I really feel like he is truly, genuinely passionate about his brand. I don't enjoy it personally, but he cares. And I got nothing but respect for anybody that's like that. He said, go Browns. I do love the Browns, man. Just because that's my last name for one. I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but yeah. But I love the colors of their uniform, and I think they're playing well. I haven't been following the NFL. I saw that the Eagles got their ass smacked today by the Giants. I did see that while I was working out, and I was like, God. So it's kind of cool. I like the fact that the Browns, and I like that the Lions are actually having a turnaround season. I root for the underdogs when I don't have a stake in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I love for the underdogs to get up and do their thing. Oh man, I showed up late. What's up? You're not too late, man. Look at this. I barely even got into the cigar, man. You're not late at all. What up? Yo, I honestly felt like I was being stalked by those helicopters too, man. But I'm always having a problem with the gnats and the lighters too. Fucking lighter, man. I didn't bring another lighter. There you go. I got some heat, y'all. It's small as shit, but I got heat. There you go. That's beautiful. Look at that. He's still saying go Steelers. My brother is a Steelers fan, man. I ain't mad at you for that. How the Steelers looking this year? You got to tell me. I haven't been following like that. More Steeler Nation. Black and yellow. That's how y'all doing it right now. Yeah, mutual respect goes a long way, Fabulous, man. But not everybody has that. Not everybody has that. So let's kind of talk about some other stuff, man. I did want to talk about, since we were talking about reviewers, I do want to talk about reviewers in general, man. Like you got Roger for Working Man Cigars. You got Cigar Side Chat. It's a lot of you got Eric Tran, and I confused the name of his show with a couple other people. So sorry, that's my dyslexia. It's not the fact that I don't watch a show or anything like that. But you got a lot of these reviewers that are out here that are like kind of finding their voice, and they're coming along in the cigar reviews. And I feel like now that Stick God Travels, he's another good reviewer that's out there right now. I feel like now that I'm stepping away from reviews, I like that there's so many more people coming in, and I want people to kind of find their own niche and find their own voice. And I really want them to kind of give the college try. I kind of feel like a lot of people are kind of getting lumped in together, and I'm not gonna speak specifically about certain people, but you can find that a lot of people are like mimicking some of the older reviewers. If it's not, if they're not mimicking the guy that I won't name, if they're not mimicking Insomniac, if they're not mimicking with Cigar Hound Dog, if they're not mimicking Brian Glenn or Ron Real, you can see like there's always going to be influence, and that's a good thing. I think people should be able to be inspired by the people who came in front of them. And I feel like you are, just like any musician, you take your pieces and you borrow from other people. But the key to all of this is like, I want every one of them to find their own voice. Whatever their personal identity is and their personality is, I want them to put it into their cigar channels and begin to grow. One thing that I'm really happy about, I've been giving a lot of shots out to Cigar Alchemist, because I just seeing the amount of growth on his channel and the way he delivers his shows, man, it's just like, it's phenomenal. And I love watching everybody coming into this thing and they're kind of doing their own thing and kind of finding their own voice. Maybe this isn't the best advice though, because I felt like my channel kind of stalled out for a while, like it, and maybe it's because I wasn't being super consistent. Shouts out to everybody to hit that like button too. But I tweaked a lot of my shows as the channel went along for 3 years, trying to figure out how I could separate myself from everybody else that was out there. I wanted to do my thumbnails in a way that nobody else is doing it. I wanted to deliver my show and give topics the way nobody else is doing it. I wanted to have a variety of shows that all felt different, even from my last show, but still kind of had connective tissue. You know what I'm saying? And I think the whole thing about having your own channel and having your own platform is to be your own person and be your own identity. And I love to see that these guys are growing and kind of finding themselves, but I want everybody to have that as their focus. So I want everybody to stand out from everybody else that's out there. So when I watch your show, I feel like I'm watching your show. And I don't want this to come off like the people that I named aren't doing that. I really think they are. But you can tell that their channels are new. And that's a beautiful thing. And I love to see the sets grow. I love to see the type of cigars that they smoke grow. I love to, Michael, what up, man? I love to see everybody like developing. Eric Antoni. But yeah, Soy Sauce Assassin too. Smoke one if you have one. Yeah, and like I always mix smoke one if you have one, smoke one if you got it, and I hate mixing people's shows up. That's just my dyslexia. I do that shit. So that's my apologies. But I talk to these guys, off camera too, man. It's just like I got nothing but love for everybody that's in this game. So I don't ever want to hold anybody's channel back. I love to, because it's been a lot of that, man. It's been so much negativity. 4 subs away. Let's get my man up to 1,000. 4 subs away, man. Thank y'all, man, for supporting my man. But I want everybody to support other channels, man. With a lot of the negative stuff that's been going on and people kind of like claiming territory in this space, YouTube is a big place. It's like it's infinite. It's the internet. So everybody got room to grow. Everybody got room to become who they are and develop into their own channel without feeling like your space is going to be taken over, without feeling like someone is going to be taking over your territory. And it's not like that. There's room for all of us. And like it's, you know, most of the people who are subscribed to me are going to be subscribed to Michael and Master Ash. And most of the people who subscribe to Michael and Master Ash, a lot of those people are going to be subscribed to Smoke One If You Got One. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these people are going to be connected, and that's the way that it should be. Yeah, Carvin, you're funny, yo. Let me see what Big Lim is saying here. So Drew Estate, 20 acre on your floral cigar list. Please elaborate on another great cigar. Please elaborate on another great cigar you turned me on to. Am I elaborating on the 20 acre farm? Am I elaborating on that one? Is that what you want? I want to make sure I understand what you're asking, Lem. But I will talk about that cigar. I haven't had one in a while. But I was smoking that cigar fairly often, man, because it was like one of my favorite, you know, Florida Sun-Growns for one. And I think it's one of the most underrated cigars that's out there. I really prefer getting cigars that have a floral component to it, and when you kind of taste like honeysuckle or roses or fresh flowers or tea leaves or something like that. And that cigar was just surprisingly balanced to me, and it gave you just the right amount of those floral notes. So like if you're having it with tea, or if you're having it with coffee, or if you're having it with a light beer, you can smoke that cigar in the morning, you can smoke that cigar in the evening, and it was just like it was just a pleasant cigar that I didn't expect to be that good. You know, because the original Florida Sun-Grown was kind of like polarizing. People either loved it or they kind of, you know, they hated it and they panned it. This one I think is kind of more universally respected, but it doesn't reach a lot of, you know, of the top tiers for a lot of, you know, the cigar reviewers or cigar smokers that are out there. But if you want a sleeper cigar, if you want a cigar that it's gonna be a clean smoke, that's not gonna have you smelling all strong, but it's gonna give you a ton of flavor, that Florida Sun-Grown 20 Acre Farm is that cigar. You can wake up first thing in the morning and smoke that cigar and not feeling like you're gonna ruin your palate or ruin the rest of your day. And the floral component really stands out. I would say that cigar and the Chinchale. I think when it comes to the Rose of Sharon, if you like that floral note in there, if you like that kind of earthy component but gives you a little bit of sweetness to go with it and balancing it out, those cigars are gonna treat you so good. And I just absolutely love them. I really do. And I really wanted to do that list because nobody is talking about the floral cigars for one. And it was a great top 10, but I felt like that list is gonna point people to a direction in the flavor profile that they're not smoking all the time. A lot of people are leaning towards the broadleaf and the Mexican San Andres or the Sumatras, and they're leaning towards these deep Maduros, or they go way on the other end for the, you know, the lighter Connecticut's. And I feel like a lot of those cigars that were on that list can put you right in the middle and give you a different look and a different flavor profile. So hopefully that helped out, man. I hope you get that cigar if you haven't, you know, already. But any of you guys that haven't had the 20 Acre Farm by Drew Estates, go out and try that one, man. I think it's highly, 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 highly underrated. Texas said he got cigar sick today for the first time forever. What would you smoke, man? What did that? If I haven't gotten to it yet. Had the new Cactus Ren short run. I don't know that one. Pretty good, but it is a lot of nicotine in that. And Carpenter said he had that one too. He said he had it at launch. I don't think I've had that one. I gotta go look for it. Pardon the pause in the dead air, trying to get my little smoke in, and I want to see what Rob was saying here too. So one of my favorite things is when 2 to 4 of my cigar guys do lives together. That's how I saw Ron Real, Cigar Prop, when I was new to cigars. Yeah, and that collaboration thing was cool. You know, we were kind of talking about that, man. And one thing about, I feel like with the new wave is, you know, that we're doing that collaboration. We're trying to keep it going, you know, so that it's not just kind of like a one-off thing. And we really talk, like when we're off camera, we talk about these cigars the same way. And we really are friends, and that's what's really cool. And the beauty of it is like, you know, I think that does a good thing for, you know, putting our audiences together. You know what I'm saying? Like it really gives us a way to like all of us have a different, you know, technique as far as the way that we do our shows. We have completely different personalities, but we gel. And that's kind of, it's like blending a cigar. You know, you're taking, you know, this leaf from over here and this leaf from over here. You're taking this wrapper and this binder and you put it all together and you're making something that works well. And I think that's what the new wave is. And we want that to be a major part of, you know, what is happening. I think Soy Sauce Assassin they have their crew with, you know, Martina Maya and the whole nine, and I think that's a dope thing. And I think people, I love the collaborations. I always joke around with the new wave cats that we're like Voltron. We just come together to form this huge Megazord, and you know, and I think that's dope. Let's see. He said, I had the Cactus Ren at launch. I don't know if it was rushed through production or what, but it tasted like a mouthful of pocket change. Yeah, that maybe needed some time to age, bro. Okay, it's exclusive from Blackbird. Cigar Carpenter getting love in here. I guess so. Mexican San Andres or the Corojo and a bunch of other stuff. And see, like, that sounds good to me, man. It sounds like it'll have a nice little spice to it too, with some chocolatiness. And I'm just going off what I know about those leaves, so I hope that is really good. Yeah, I enjoyed the tobacco knot. I thought that was a good cigar. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't mind blowing for me, but it was a really good cigar. Sorry, I'm trying to enjoy this for a second. What? It's a new year for everybody, man. How's your new year treating you? The new year for me in Japan was kind of crazy, man. So we can get into that before I get up out of here. Been going for about an hour. I probably got another 30 minutes or so. I got more than that with a cigar, though. I don't know if y'all been watching the news or seeing, you know, anything that was happening on Japan. You guys probably saw that I did the community update when I was kind of telling you about some of the stuff that was going on. So my family came in from New York. So we were bouncing around. Like I went from where I am 2 hours away. We went to Fukuoka, and in Fukuoka we kicked it. My wife came up for a minute before she had to come back and do her work here, and so I was there with family. And we went from Fukuoka to Osaka and Kyoto, and then we went from Osaka and Kyoto all the way up to Tokyo. So I got to ride the bullet train for the first time, and so I didn't drive a car for 2 weeks. And every day we took about anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 steps a day. That's how much we were walking around, and you know, going to different museums, going to different temples, going out to eat, going to Disneyland and Disney Sea. We went and saw in Nara. There's a place called Nara that has these deer that bow to you, and you can feed them if they bow to you. And like, so it was some really cool stuff, but it was a lot of walking around with luggage, walking around with kids. It was a lot, and I was exhausted. So by the time I got to Disney World, man, I was tapped out. My old ass was tapped. And I was like struggling to kind of get around and kind of do everything. So by the time we got to the new year, the only thing we bought champagne to pop, and we were gonna kick it. But the only thing we did, we turned on the music, we danced with the kids, and did the countdown. And then as soon as that was done, everybody was like, all right, good night, we're going to bed. And everybody collapsed and went to sleep. So when I woke up, I found out there was an earthquake. So January 1st in Japan, there was a major earthquake. It was a 7.4. Luckily, by that time, we had gotten over to Tokyo. We were doing the Disneyland thing. I didn't feel the earthquake at all. I had no idea that it happened. I had no clue until my brother-in-law got up and was like, yo, man, did you feel that? I'm like, nah, like what happened? So when we checked the news, the western part of Japan they were under tsunami warnings. So it was so bad, like, you know, that people had to get evacuated. And I think the death toll within 2 days went up to like 63 people passed away from mudslides, from, you know, homes breaking down and burning down. Like, it was a disaster. And, you know, a lot of people were worried about me. My phone was going off and blowing up for like days on end. Everybody was just checking to make sure I was okay. So I had to do the Facebook status. I had to do, you know, I had to do the community status, and I was just trying to let everybody know that I was good. Working Man Cigars, Roger, I was just talking about you, homie, what up? But I had to do all that just to make sure everybody knew that I was safe and sound. So we were on the eastern side of Japan, so we didn't even really, like, the earthquake wasn't even that big of a deal. But like when it hit on the western side, it was cool. And then literally the next day, there was a plane that was supposed to be taking aid to the western part of Japan so that people could get all their safety and all their aid and all that kind of stuff. Two planes collided. So people were inside the plane. If you guys go on TikTok, you can probably find it. There were people inside the plane while the plane was catching on fire. Like, I mean, it was a disaster movie that was happening. So the plane that was carrying the supplies to the people who were trapped in Japan, everybody died except for the captain. It was 5 people that were on. There was 6 people on there, and only one of them out of that 6 survived. 5 people passed away, and that was only like day 2. And that's how, like, the new year started here in Japan. It was like total pandemonium and chaos, man. So, you know what it felt like? It felt like 2020. It felt like 2020 when I woke up that morning in 2020 in January and Kobe died. And it was kind of like, fuck, is that how we starting this year off? It's like, is that how we gonna do this shit? But, you know, for the most part, most people in Japan are okay. The tsunami only brought in like 4-foot waves, so it wasn't like any 20-foot waves or anything like that. The area where I am, I'm back on the western side of Japan. I'm safe and sound. Everything is good. So that's kind of like how my new year started, man. I hope y'all new year's went a lot better than that. Let's see, you got Gentleman's Journal here. He said, long time sub, first time catching the live. Thank you for joining in on the live, brother. Y'all showing so much love for this live, man. I can't say how much I appreciate y'all. Said from Atlanta. All right, ATL. Cigars up, baby. Thank you for joining in, man. I really appreciate that. What you smoking on tonight, man? You got a cigar with you? You got a Gentleman's cigar? You smoking your best? Roger in here getting mad love, man. Hey, you know what's really cool about Roger and Working Man Cigars? I love the fact that, like, when he came in, like, the chat just went off, everybody showing him love. It's cool. It was super cool when he came onto the live with us with the New Wave. I'm sorry I didn't really get to enjoy the show, but Roger's just a real cool, down-to-earth cat, man. And you can see it by the love that he gets from a lot of people in the cigar community, and just everybody that's just like showing love, man. So that's what's up, Roger. You good people, man. That's dope. Yeah, man, I'm safe and sound, bro. I'm cool. You know, it was just a weird start to the beginning of the year, man. It's just kind of a weird thing. So people here in Japan were kind of on edge, you know, and then some people were just kind of chilling. So it was just kind of an interesting way to start the year. Hey, man, thank you, Arliss, for saying you enjoyed the reviews, man. You know, for the most part, I enjoyed doing the reviews, too. I am going to kind of miss it. But I think sitting back and having these lives, man, and getting to talk to y'all, like actually responding to you guys and enjoying my cigars while I have a conversation, I think this is the best part of the channel to me now. And I don't think the reviews are like completely dead, but I'm not going to be doing a lot of them. It's just kind of a weird thing, man, that I feel like I'm putting a lot of money into other people's pockets, and I'm giving a lot to a lot of these, you know, brands and these companies, and it's just not a lot in return. and and I just don't like the way that YouTube is treating reviewers, and and I just don't like the way that I don't like the way that a lot of the establishment in the cigar community is treating reviewers. We're kind of like the stepchild, and they need us, but they don't treat us like we need us. And it's nice to get a box of cigars here and there, and like you respect it when John Huber sent me a box. I felt like it was earnest. Like he was like, "Hey, thank you for showing love to my brand. Here, take these cigars." I thought that was cool. He didn't even have to do that, and that's when my channel was really small. I felt like Saka did the same thing. What really bothered me about that is the person that will not be named went out of his way to talk down about me and about the new wave to Steve Saka, and kind of besmirch us, and it's like, come on, man, you ain't got to do that. That's just like some really foul stuff to do. I've never said anything foul against anything of any of the brands. I may say I don't like their cigars or something like that, but I've never been disrespectful towards anybody in this game. So for somebody to be disrespectful like that, it's just like it's disgusting. It's nasty. And it just got to a point where it's like I wanted to do what I love in this. These cigars are my hobby, and it's a lifestyle. And building a community was everything for me. So the fact that we got 30 people watching the live right now, 41 people have hit the like button, that is where like my home is, man. And the amount of support that people gave to the top 10 and the buyer's guides, I thought it was a beautiful thing. It's amazing that I even made it to 3,000 subscribers. So like you gotta be thankful and grateful for that. But the amount of friends that I made, the amount of you guys that I talked to behind the scenes, and then being able to chill with the new wave and get to meet them in person and stuff like that, this is the part that I fall in love with, man. So whenever you guys are in the comments, or whenever you guys are like just showing support for the channel and just showing love, man, it means everything to me. And that's why, like, it's no way that I could completely get rid of this channel. I couldn't do it. I care about it too much. But the review side is like, it's a ton of great reviewers out there. Roger is killing it right now. John is killing it. Master Your Ash. Smoke one if you got one. Smoke what you like. Stick God Travels. Joe Knows. Tim with Cigar Show. Like, come on, man. There's so many people doing reviews right now that y'all don't need me. It's not even necessary for me to be out there right now. It's not what it was a few years back, man, but I like the fact that it's growing again, and it's gonna go. And that's why I was saying that I want people to be able to find their voice when they're doing these cigar side chat. I want people to be able to, like, it's so many different people that you can kind of get their opinion on. And I'm always gonna be around to give my opinion on certain cigars. There are gonna be cigars that come out where I was like, I feel like I gotta talk about it. But I also got my other endeavors and stuff that I need to focus on too. But y'all don't know how much I love doing these lives, man. These lives are like the best thing for me, man. It's therapy, and it's a time to just connect with people who have spent time with the channel, and people who are new to the channel, and like I can get your opinions, and when you guys give your opinions, I can give my feedback right back, and like I enjoy it, man. And I think this is like, when I started the channel, I wanted to be like a cigar lounge in the first place. So this is like, if you were in Fresno, California with me, and you just sat down, like, this is the way I would do it at a lounge, man. I just sit back and I talk what I like about cigars. I talk about what y'all like. I talk sports, talk music, and I made good friends doing that. And this is the life right here. Roger said, yeah, I like your cigar reviews, but your lives are dope. Appreciate you, homeboy. Thank you. It's so hard to talk freely like you do, and it takes. And it's really weird, man. It's really a fascinating thing. Like, I was in public speaking when I was in school. I used to be a spoken word poet. I was a rapper and an MC. So honestly, like, I feel comfortable on camera. I feel comfortable talking, and I still want to get the podcast going, man. Just so, like, I like that feel of just being able to fill airspace and then being able to talk and express yourself. But it's not always the easiest thing, especially off the top of your head. Sometimes you got to fill up dead air, and you got to come up with topics, and keeping people interested. It's not an easy thing. And I'm not gonna say I'm like the best orator that's out there, but I do enjoy talking, and I do enjoy like getting feedback and giving feedback, and I like that 1-2 combination, man. And it helps. And if you notice, like even when people are gathering and they're doing like live shows together, it's not always easy to get, the person that you're talking to, the person that you're interviewing to talk, because most people, when they're smoking cigars, they're kicking it by themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're just enjoying their thoughts, they're enjoying their environment, they enjoying their pairings or whatever the case may be. It's not a lot of talking all the time. So it's kind of fun to be able to have a good chat and have a good conversation and to feel like you're talking with your friends. You know what I mean? That's like a cool vibe to me, man. It's just like, that's just one of my favorites. Rob said in the 40 plus likes, man. Appreciate y'all. Good looking out on that, Alexander. Said Rob said in addition to enjoyment of the lives, I'm guessing there are less work with the editing. Yes, man, the editing was a lot, and you guys saw, like when it came to the editing for my show, I feel like Matt has it down pat, where he has the most simplistic and just straightforward show. And it's part of the reason why he blew up so much, because he doesn't do a whole lot of editing, but he has a great set, he has a great personality, he has a great set of cigars that he reviews, and it's just like, it's the perfect show. And it's this type of show that could go on forever and keep growing. My show, like, I wanted to kind of always create whatever vibe that I was in while I'm smoking that cigar. I wanted to do the gifts, I wanted to do the music, I wanted to put the Easter eggs in, I wanted to have, different colors and different patterns and whatever that fit the cigar and fit my mood at the time. And that took a lot when it came to editing. It took a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually enjoyed that process too. Like, it's like, for a creative person, that was a thing that I enjoyed. But I would spend hours on it. I would stay up into the middle of the night sometimes to get, those reviews out for you. But right now, being a stay-at-home dad and trying to stay into the gym and practice Japanese and travel throughout Japan and support my wife in her career right now and try to work on other channels and try to, hang out with my friends, like, just the time is just difficult. And then being in the state that I'm in right now, I'm homeless. I don't have a home. And, that's I got to get off this live soon so I can go find a crib. Matter of fact, what time is it? Okay, I still got some time though. I still got some time to kick it with y'all. But saying that to say, there was a lot that goes into just my everyday life, and the editing process, and taking notes and reviewing the cigars and smoking the cigars. It took up a lot of time. And when you're doing that, when you're spending 8 to 10 hours on it, it's really hard to do that and have enough time in the day, and when you're not getting anything back. And what I got back was, 25 people in my live. It's not easy to get that many people to even want to come into your show. I'm not famous. I'm not a superstar. I don't do anything special compared to anybody else. I'm just being me. You know what I mean? And you guys are just kicking it with me. And so that's amazing, and I'm grateful for that. So I felt like that was just kind of a better lane. It just makes me happy to sit back and talk with y'all. You and Ron Real would have been a nice live combo. Miss him in the game. I miss Ron Real being around too. I don't know how that would worked out with, the other people kind of infiltrating and not liking that. And, I came to find out on the back end, man, that there was a lot of people that didn't respect who I was and didn't respect me in the game. It was interesting at first because Ron was one of the first people that had any kind of notoriety in the review center to come on my show and say, hey man, I like your show, I like your view, I like what you're doing, keep going. And I thought that was a cool thing. He didn't have to do that, and I feel like just with me, that's why I try to pop up in everybody's comments. I try to respond to everybody because that felt good to me as a new reviewer. That's why I try to talk up other people and to get other people to support and like other people. But then other people came in that were like really just natural born snake in the grass and haters. That relationship just kind of deteriorated. So I don't know how he feels about me. And when I was talking about the other cat that I thought was cool, that just kind of disappeared on us and blocked us and did all that kind of stuff, when I talked about that, sometimes it's disappointing to see that this territorial mentality kind of comes into the game. and it kind of ruins that camaraderie that should come with smoking your best cigars. So, if things would have worked out, I would have loved to do a live with him and just to kick it and smoke and just talk. But you got to kind of befriend the people that are willing to be befriended. It is what it is. All right, gentlemen, be safe, man. I hope I'm not too late saying a goodbye to you. Yeah, Jason said he smoked alone, and I do too. And it was funny when I was talking about the allegiance, and I was talking about the Wagashi. Those cigars, like, y'all didn't even see. I didn't do a review for those cigars. I just went outside and I smoked those cigars on my own. And honestly, it was important for me to smoke those cigars alone because I wanted to be one with my thoughts at that time. I wanted to enjoy the cigars, and I wanted to not take notes, but I wanted to really experience the cigar, and I wanted to really experience those moments. And sometimes that's like the best thing in the world, when you're just kicking back and you're in your own zone and you're just thinking about the cigars. Then I feel like I can give my most honest feedback when that is the case. You feel me? I love smoking with groups. It's like the best thing when I was with my brother and smoking a cigar in Las Vegas. Like, that was one of the best memories that I had. We just sitting in a cabana and me and my brother enjoying a cigar. That's a good vibe, you know what I'm saying? Or we had a long day and we went to my mother's house and we just sat back leaning on her car and I enjoyed a cigar with my brother. That's a lifelong memory. You feel? So, and just like, I hate when I met Matt, I didn't have a chance. Only thing we did was like drop bombs off to each other, and I didn't get a chance to smoke a cigar with him. One of these days, I'm gonna be able to link up with DJ and John and Michael and Matt and actually get to smoke cigars with them in person and not have to do it over a live. There are people who have been telling me they're coming into Japan soon. And I tell people, like, yo, when you get here, holler at me. Look me up, man. Let's go to a lounge and let's go smoke a cigar somewhere. I actually want to be able to kick it and enjoy that vibe with you. I like the idea of having that lone cigar or being able to just smoke with other people and enjoy that, man. I think that's really dope. And that's part of what all of this is about. Oh, yo, what up, D? What's good, baby? That is my family from way back where I grew up, man. North Carolina, stand up, man. Darius, what up, baby? That's good. Like, see, that's cool right there. So, I've known this cat since elementary school. He and his older brother and I in the same grade. So I was around him, D, what, you like a year or two younger than us? Something like that? And this is the cat that, like, I played video games with and I played with toys with and played at Bridges Park. Like, this is long-time family, man. So it's good. He's into cigars too. So to have your fan pop up into your live like that is wonderful, man. Like, this smile is genuine. I'm happy to see you, baby. What up? Hey, you tuning in late, but we rolling, man. I'm gonna be here for a little bit of time, man. It's all good. And I like to see that 3 years, man. It didn't seem like it was 3 years, man. But I'm glad to see you. It makes me happy, man. I'm genuinely glad to see you, bro. And it's what's wild, y'all, when you know somebody for so long, you know somebody ever since you were kids, and you see them, growing up and prospering. They got their own family, and you watching their kids grow up. It's a beautiful thing, man. That's the stuff you live for, man. When you can sit back and smoke a cigar with your peoples, man, and talk about your kids being in sports and just what they're going through in school, man. And you see the personality, like you see, it's almost like flashing back to seeing your homeboy when he was little too. That's a good thing, man. It's just like it make me happy to see you up in here, bro. Man, don't do that, man. I'm gonna tear up here calling me a big brother, man. Don't do that to me. I swear I'll tear up here. Don't do that to me. Michael said popping into the local lounge for a minute, but I'll be back and check in shortly. No doubt, man. Get some good cigars while you up in there too, Michael. Something good for the review. Don't do that, man. I'm really, like, that made me miss you, man. I'm happy to see you. But speaking of, man, you got a cigar while you here, man? What y'all smoking on? Let me know what y'all smoking on. Darius, what you smoking, bro? I'm actually gonna put this cigar out. I enjoyed it, but it's a little bit plugged. It's not my favorite. I haven't had a Sin Compromiso in a while. Give me a sec, y'all. And I'm not putting that principle out because I disliked it, but I'm just not enjoying the draw on it. It had some good flavors. It was kind of leathery. It had some almonds in there. Not a lot of spice to it. Not a lot of pepper, which is good. It wasn't the creamiest, but it was a smooth smoke, but it wasn't like creamy or anything like that. Oh, you back in the borough? Oh, that's what's up. He said, man, back home, seeing how your character was different than anyone else, and you set your own bar, bro. I looked up to that, man. I appreciated that, man. I think just being, man, you know, we came up in a small town, man. You know, I tell people on here all the time that we had was like factories, farms, fast food, and football. That was our town, man. And I wanted to have my own identity. I wanted to be able to, you know, not feel like I had to fit into everybody else's standards. And you guys were always receptive to that, man, and let me be myself, man. So that I was grateful to have real, genuine friends and real people around, man. Like, you need that. Instead of people bullying, I could talk to y'all about comics, man. We could play. I could talk to y'all about drawing. I could talk to y'all about art. And you guys really, you know, gave me a lot to feed off of, and real, genuine friendship. And that's cool that we're, you know, 30 plus years down the line, and we can still have that same kind of friendship this many years later. You know, when Fred pop up all the time, he'll send me like videos and stuff like that, man. Y'all just make my heart warm, man. And I appreciate y'all just being good brothers for that many years, man. Like, a lot of people don't get like long-term friendships like that, you know. And so it's a beautiful thing, man. So thank you for that, man. That means a lot to me. So Roger said, I'm not smoking anything yet, but gonna light up an Angel Cuesta here in the next 30 minutes. Dog, if you haven't had that cigar yet, please send me some info what you think about that Angel Cuesta. Like, dead ass serious. Like, it hit the top 10 on that list for a reason for me. Like, I really enjoyed that cigar. And somebody was asking me earlier, like, what was the surprise for me? I can say that cigar was a surprise. I love JC Newman anyway, but I didn't know how that cigar was gonna come off, and I didn't know if I was gonna like it that much. Like, JC Newman was really like trying to get that cigar out to us as reviewers because they believed in it. But you just never know sometimes, man. You never know like how those cigars are gonna come out. You never know if they're really gonna be as good as they build or what, man. And that cigar really kind of lived up to the expectations and actually exceeded any expectation. My lighter is trash, man. For whatever reason, it won't kick out enough flame. But I wanted to light up this Sin Compromiso because DJ at Pick Jimmy does not like the Sin Compromiso at all. And I've had a lot of people like in my comments recently talking about the Sin Compromiso. And for me, this was one of my favorite cigars when it came out. I enjoyed it, but I did your worst cigars list last year in 2022, and it was on my worst cigars list for the number 7. And I had a guy named Kerry come into my email the other day, yesterday, and he was saying how much he didn't like the number 7 either. But I told him, I was like, yo, try all the different vitolas of this cigar because it really is a good cigar. And I haven't had any of the vitolas that I did not like. I liked all of them. I'm really struggling to like this goddamn cigar. So I wanted to smoke again, make sure like I really was appreciating this cigar the way, you know, I've been saying for the past however long. I'm struggling though. this is one of the most unique blends for me, man, because the sweetness, the chocolate that I'm getting right now is amazing, and it's not even perfectly lit. But this cigar also gives this kind of minty effervescence that it's almost like a menthol that you don't get from any other blends. And I love a good, Corona size, like a smaller ring gauge, anywhere from like that 40 to 43, 48. I really dig that, man. So I kind of wanted to try this again. Hopefully this shit will light up for me. I apologize on that. Let me catch up with what y'all are saying here. Jason said he just got done with the Griffins and didn't like it. It was alright to me. It was alright, and to me that's kind of a polarizing cigar. But I'm not knocking your opinion on that one at all. Who is this? M says every reviewer has different tastes. I appreciate your opinion, and the more the merrier. The new wave, Roger, and new ones. So yeah, that's what's up, man. It's a lot of good people, and I think it's good to get, a lot of the different, profiles and a lot of, different palettes, and to understand people's opinions and why they do and why they do not like cigars, man. So, like you said, the more the merrier. It makes it all the better. Let's see. Smoking a short story. Man, I haven't had a short story in a minute, man. Learning to take my time with the shorts, perfectos, tasting good. Come on, man. It's for Wednesday, so no doubt. Short story is a banger. Gentleman Journey says smoking my everyday stick punch Grand Puro, simple but good. You know what? You were on the money with that, man. I don't know. It's been a few lives since I talked about it, but that punch line, the Grand Puro, the Grand Habano, and it's another one. They smoke really good, man. I didn't think those cigars were gonna be as good as they were, but I applaud anybody that's smoking those punch, Grand Puro line. That they are actually damn good. That is a good daily driver. Quincy said, I love pepper bombs. Any suggestions? I don't know if you've had the Flathead 660, but that's a good one. Shoot. Let me think about that one, Quincy, and get back to you, because I gotta kind of go through my list on that one. Just off the top of the head, I can't think. I know there's some good pepper bombs up there. That would have been a great top 10. That would have been a great top 10. So I gotta think about that one. I'll get back, and I just might make that list and have somebody else do it. What up, B? What else? Who was that? Work, play hard. Hey, salute to you, man. What's good? I know I'm behind on these, so I'm gonna catch up on. It's a lot of these going right now. Hey, Casey, appreciate the love, man. Thank you very much, Casey. Brotherhood is definitely a beautiful thing, man. And Darius, I was just talking to, man. We go way back, man. It's like really, I'm touched. Just the fact that my homie showed up like that. Yeah, it has been 30 plus years, bruh. He said late night I burned a random one. I've never tried the Esteli Nicaragua LFD. Oh yeah, you smoking LFD. You smoking good then, D. You good to go. Thoughts on the JC Newman El Baton? I haven't had it, man. I haven't had that. I do love JC Newman though. So I'll keep an eye out for it. Now this is how a cigar should smoke. That principle, that's probably the least fun I've had with a principle in of any that I've had. But goddamn, if this Sin Compromiso ain't smoking like a dream right now. Let's see. Working man, Roger getting mad love. What up though? NYC in the building. What up? Yeah. This is the Sin Compromiso. So I gotta show love to Dunbarton Tobacco. He said, I'm surprised you didn't try to light that one with the one. It just wasn't working right, man. So it's all good. The lighter got it done. I worked my way through it. Which aviator was this, man? It just said Aviator Siri on this. Maybe you can look it up for me. I'm gonna put it up here so you can see it. That was the only banding that I had on it, so I'm not 100% sure. Oh, you got the Aganorsa joint. Okay, okay. Aganorsa always got good tobacco anyway. I see you. I see you, D. Little unorthodox, but it'll work. Yeah, facts. Outdoor smoking can be tough. Less options when things get tricky. And that's the thing, man. I haven't had a place indoors that I could just smoke and enjoy my cigars in quite some time. And that was another thing, like doing these reviews and all that kind of stuff, man. I really had to fight to have time to smoke. I didn't have a garage. I didn't have an overhang or anything like that. I didn't have a heater, so I was sitting up on my rooftop, especially in the winters. It got kind of rough during the winter, but when the weather is beautiful, and y'all saw what my last view was like when I lived in Zushi, man. Like that was like the perfect place to smoke when I had time. I'm hoping in the new place that that I'll have a good little place. Like it's like a overhead awning where we park our cars, so I should be able to smoke out there for a little bit, and I'm gonna buy a nice heater, so I should be able to do that. But these homes are so thin in Japan that I'm not gonna be able to smoke inside. My wife would choke me out if I ruin one of these homes with smoke and all that kind of shit. And I'm not trying to fight my wife, so ain't no need for that. I'm sorry, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I gotta listen to my wife on that one. So it is what it is. But the thing is like lighters can get kind of tricky, and this lighter, I actually bought this when I was on my vacation a couple weeks ago, and it was working like a charm. It had been working fine, but it's just like one of those standard, big lighters that you can get from the Konbini that you just get, on the fly. I got it, on the plane. I got it on the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, and it made it back here with me. And now after all that, it stopped working. That's my luck. I go through that shit. Hey man, look, I tell y'all, if y'all want to do anything nice for me, man, give me a good lighter, man. Because I'm always struggling with my lighters, yo. Yeah, the Flathead 660 is a bomb smoke for sure. Espinosa has a lot of peppery, heavy cigars. Espinosa, that's a good one. H. Fernandez, usually you can find a lot of AJ Fernandez cigars that are like that are pepper bombs. And I was on a mission maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, just trying to see like how many like pepper bomb cigars that I like. Like I actually like pepper in my cigars too. I don't think it's a bad thing. I like pepper in my food, especially like if I'm doing something that's like creamy, like my mashed potatoes, or like my mac and cheese or something like that. Or if I'm doing something that's like with my beef, or like I like my beef really peppery. So I like pepper. Like if I get beef jerky, I like to get the pepper beef jerky. I like that profile. Matt, on the other hand, like that just completely throws him off. But in my cigar evolution over time, I was kind of going for like more a balanced approach to the cigar profiles. So that's kind of like where I connected with that. So I kind of left the pepper bombs behind. So I need to go back into my catalog and kind of remember like what the peppery cigars were. That would be like a great top 10 list to do, man. I probably won't do it, but I do want to put that top 10 list together. So I got both of the Walston brothers up in here, man. What up, Fred? What up, baby? That's my other childhood friend. That's the older brother I was just telling y'all about, man. What up, though? Good to see you, baby. How you doing? The family is good, man. We actually are enjoying Japan right now. The kids are off of school, and we just took them all around Japan, man. We took them to Team Labs. If you guys are not familiar with Team Labs, it's like an interactive museum where you can go in and it's just like a light show all the time, and you're walking through water. Like it's a fantastic, like you're in a living art display, and it's kind of cool. So y'all can check that out. We took the kids to see the deer. We took them to Disneyland and all that, man. So my kids are happy. They're back in school. They're kicking it with their friends. And we've been meeting a lot of real cool people while we're here in Japan. So we got like a little system that's going, man. So life is good out here, brother. I hope everything's good for y'all back home. Let's see. D. Hen said, been smoking cigars 9 years, still don't taste cigars. Love the leaf though. So D, explain that to me, man. Like, so when you're smoking cigars, like what are you getting? Like, does it just taste like smoke to you? And if that's the case, I want to, matter of fact, I was gonna say, like, I want you to hit me up like behind the scenes, man, so I can like send you some cigars. I want to see if I can give you a flavor profile to see if you can actually get some taste out of these cigars. But actually, just go to my flavor bomb top 10. I did it a few months back. It's called the top 10 flavor bombs. Check out that list, man, and I want to see if you have smoked those cigars, or if you will smoke those cigars, will it give you a different profile? Will it give you something that you can actually taste on those cigars? The reason why I did though that list is because I felt like no matter what, you will be able to taste some different notes in those cigars. It's not gonna just taste like smoke. So let me know what you think about that, man, if you get a chance. Said, love the last Tabernacle by Foundation. Foundation gets busy, man. That is like, Foundation has some really great cigars. I was kind of disappointed in the Matepa that I just smoked recently. I didn't really love that cigar. I didn't hate it. It didn't make a bottom list or a top list, but it was a really good cigar. If you haven't tried the Olmec, try the Olmec by Foundation too. That Tabernacle line is amazing. So I think if you like that, I think the Olmec is even better. So let me know what you think about that. Jason said, yeah, have you tried the Christoph Pissed Off? It's a great smoke. I will try it just based on your recommendation, Jason. I gotta admit, like, Christoph is one of those brands that I don't really go for too often. I didn't have the best experience with them, but I'm not against it. So if you think it's really good, it's worth the try, for sure. Somebody asked the Warped Chinchale being similar to the Andalusian Bull. What are your thoughts on that? To me, no. And I love both of those cigars. I could see kind of why they would say that, because you got some of the Cuban-esque flavors in the Chinchale, and that's really what the Andalusian Bull. Andalusian Bull is just like a Cuban cigar on steroids, without the Cuban twang. But everything else is like dead on a really good Cuban. But for me, the Chinchale gives you a lot more sweetness, and it gives you that floral component that separates from just about any other cigar that's out there. I love the Chinchale. And which one would I like more? I would probably smoke the Chinchale a little bit more, just because of the size of the Vitola, and you can kind of get more of just like an everyday smoke profile out of that. The Andalusian Bull is one of the slowest burning cigars out there. You need a like 2 hours time frame to smoke that cigar. Like, I'm a fast smoker, and you need time with the Andalusian Bull. The Saka Khan and the Andalusian Bull, you need time to just kick back and really smoke that cigar. I can't smoke that cigar on a regular basis. Plus, it's not limited, I guess you can call it limited production, because they sell out so fast, and then you got to kind of wait to get that cigar back, so it's hard to really get your hand on it at the price point and with the availability. So the Chinchale kind of wins out for me because of that. They don't really have a similar profile to me, but I can kind of see where they're connected, if that makes sense. So Ian said, I'll be in Sasebo May, June time. Yo, holla at me when you get here, and I know I've mentioned that to you before, but holla at your boy when you get out here. Let's smoke a good cigar together, man. You've been here, you've been supporting the channel forever, man. I would love to kick back and smoke with you. Do I retrohale? Yes, I do retrohale. I don't retrohale all the time, but for me, I talk with Sanj about this all the time too, Sanj Patel, and I think when you retrohaling a cigar, you're really not gonna get all the flavors unless you actually get your olfactory senses in there. I have really bad allergies. You can probably hear it in my voice right now, but I retrohale all the time, and that's really important. I actually do it like most of the time when I'm smoking now. Like, I don't even think about it, and I do a retrohale. But you really get a different profile whenever you do a retrohale. And like some of the nuances and the flavors and things like that, you're not gonna get. That effervescence that I was talking about, the little bit of white pepper, I just got it from this here. I love that you kind of get that vegetal note, and you get that whatever that menthol profile is from the Sin Compromiso, and it comes in handy when you're doing a retrohale with that. So yeah, most definitely. My man Revolver is up in here. What up, homie? It's good to see you, baby, in one of the lives, man. That's really cool. Don Carlos Pyramid and the Lafroig, I don't know if I'm saying that right, 16, waiting on my injection and marinated chicken to get done. Oh, okay, so you got some flavors you're cooking right there. That Pyramid, anything by Don Carlos is like absolute money, man. So you're about to kick in and have a good night tonight, Revolver. Let's see. Alexander said, I found a pissed off Christoph. Got to find the time for that strong Churchill. Sometimes smoke something to knock out. And either that or the M81. And those who do it, they're definitely strong enough. All right. My man Fred said, everyone is good. Just windy here. Yo, I've been feeling that too. So luckily, we finally got a calm day with some sunshine, as you can finally see. Yeah, yo, let me know when you and D smoke that cigar together, man. Yo, y'all gotta take a picture and send that to me, man. That'll mean everything to me. Revolver said he thought the Metepa was awful, and I love Foundation. I wouldn't say it was awful, but I wasn't a big fan of it, so I kind of understand that. Like, it was a little bit let down. It kind of felt like they took the Olmec and then just took all the flavor out of the Olmec and just kind of made it a lot more mild. But I only had one, so I don't want to go too far saying that. Let's see. Rod said, tasting cigars. For those struggling, do you recommend any tips, i.e. cold draw, drinking water first? You know what? Honestly, no, man. Honestly, no. What do I recommend on that? I guess for me, like, I like to give the smoke some time to kind of marinate before I exhale. And I think for me, I don't know, just flavor notes kind of come naturally to me, just because I spent so much time with food and smelling different spices and trying to taste everything that I could, especially when I was a cook and a butcher. Like, so I don't know. I think a lot of it is the nostalgia of being able to go back into your senses and think about, like, when you're outside and you smell flowers or you smell honey, or when you're like smelling cinnamon, because those are a lot of the notes that you're gonna get when you're smelling fresh coffee. Get some coffee beans and grind them up and smell those, and just try to get used to that. Having those such prominent smells within your senses, because that's really all it is. So then when you're doing it, give it a long draw, get enough of a smoke body into your mouth, kind of take it around and let it sit in your palate, and then let it go through your nose a little bit. That's where most of it is going to come from. Your taste buds are not going to do a lot of it, honestly. It's going to be from your olfactory senses and coming from your nasal passage and all that kind of stuff. But everybody's palate is completely different, so it's really hard for me to say exactly how to teach someone how to taste cigars. That's a difficult thing, you know what I mean? And that's why everybody's palate is different. But when you have people saying, like, oh man, I taste coffee, I taste this, it's really just a lot of the nostalgia coming into it, and what their memory is getting from that scent. When you're getting cedar wood, when you're getting oak, when you're getting mesquite, it's really like all of these plants are connected, especially after they dry out, and all these different leaves are going to have the same type of stuff that it's going to be in the soil from when you're growing tomatoes, when you're growing tobacco, when you're growing pineapple or whatever. So all of these plants are connected and related in some way. So a lot of all of the different chemical processes are going to have some of the similar notes once they're getting burned. And usually you just got to kind of tap into that and kind of get like, okay, what profiles am I getting? A lot of it comes from the oils that are on the wrappers and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a matter of really tapping into everything that you've tasted before. A lot of times when you're having people say, like, oh, I taste, cardboard, or I taste something like this extravagant, like, oh, I'm getting maraschino cherries, or whatever the case may be. I don't think anybody is wrong with that. I've had like the J.C. Newman Diamond. What was it? Not the Black Diamond, but the Connecticut one. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the name. I can see the band on it and everything. I tasted cornflakes. I did it on a cold draw. I tasted the cornflakes on that, and when I lit it, I got cornflakes. So sometimes you get like these bready notes, and you get these yeasty profiles, and it's really about like having your brain connect the dots to different things that you've had. There was another cigar that had like a lemongrass profile in it, and it reminded me of the lemongrass that I would taste when I would eat Fruit Loops as a kid. I used to eat Fruit Loops like straight out of the box with no milk or anything, and that lemongrass component was prominent in there, and I tasted that in the cigar. So like, it's really all going to be on what you have in your memory banks and what you have in your senses. So when those flavor comes in, like, you just kind of search like, oh, this reminds me of something. This reminds me of Brazil nuts. This reminds me of almonds, or whatever the case may be. And like, you can't teach anybody what they taste. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a really complex thing, you know? I hope that made sense, man. I hope I was able to, I'm not just rambling on. It said the Don Carlos #2 or Bellicoso as first Don Carlos. I would say the #4. I think the #4 is that Bellicoso, if I'm correct. That is like, y'all know my absolute favorite is, you know, the shark. But if I can't have a shark, which most times I'm not gonna spend $30 on a cigar, I go out and get the 4. And John from Cigar Alchemist, I'm getting chocolate on that now. And John from Cigar Alchemist and I talk about that all the time. That's like one of our favorites. That's something that we got in common. That like, if we're in the mood for a really good Dominican or for a really good Fuente, it's always accessible. You can always go out and get a #4. It's gonna be around. It's just it's regular production, and it gives you the same flavor notes and flavor profiles as you would get as something as high end as a shark. So that's like a hack, man. So that's my recommendation. But honestly, with any of the Vitolas for the Don Carlos line, you really can't go wrong. He said he retro hell like 3 to 4 cigars a day. That's fascinating, man. It's really fascinating, but everybody's palate is different. But for me, that's not really a big issue, because a part of the reason that I got into cigars anyway, I like playing with the smoke, especially if I'm smoking inside, man. I like blowing my smoke rings. I like just, you know, retrohelling the cigars. I like letting the smoke just kind of roll out. Like, that's my favorite thing. I enjoy just like playing with the smoke and playing with the cigar. So that's just as entertaining to me as actually getting the flavor notes. I'm just lucky in the sense that I feel like my palate can pick up on a lot of the notes that are out there. If you know, you know. Said his video is lagging, man. Y'all let me know if it's lagging. I'm not getting any lag here. I'm not like blinking out that I can tell. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry if it's the connection is not working, or if it's on your end, if you're like having issues like with your router or whatever the case may be. I don't know, but I'm also behind on a lot of these chats, man. I appreciate y'all, man. 46 likes. We still got 20 people holding in after an hour and 43 minutes. Y'all are holding me down, man. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Yeah, being retired is good, man. I wish I was in that phase, man. So that's what's up. He said, when you get old like me, you can't pick out individual flavors like I could in the past. You know what? And I'm kind of worried about that too. And I also think, like, with the allergies issues that I've been having, that I've been missing a lot of the flavor profiles. I'm kind of like, matter of fact, that you said that, I had Peter from Cigar Collective gave me the limited edition Cameroon by Aladino the other day, and I smoked that, and I gave that cigar a C because I didn't get a lot of flavors from it, and I was worried that it might have been me, because I know Matt really loves that cigar. I know Peter from Cigar Collective really loved that cigar, and they sent that cigar out to me, and I just didn't get what they got from that cigar. I didn't get a lot of flavors on that, so I was kind of worried that that was the issue I was having with the Wagashi, and maybe with the Allegiance, and with that Aladino Cameroon, because everybody else around me was saying that they were great cigars, and I just didn't get it to the same level. So I don't know. Sometimes that's the case, man. I might just be getting old too. Let's see. Carpenter said, as far as tasting goes, Keelan is spot on. It's not like there is a taste bud that tastes Fruit Loops, or a combination of salty, sweet, bitter, sour, umami, and combine the flavors. Facts, all facts. But I will say, that when someone is blending the cigar and they're doing all these test runs, they're looking for a consistency in there too. And for me, I think with the blind taste test, I don't know, somebody might put me up to this. For the most part, I can taste Corojo in just about anything. That spice and the cedar is so prominent for me that I can almost pinpoint where Corojo is. And if you gave me a Cuban, like a Serie D, I can taste that Cuban twang in that. I can taste the vegetable notes in that. Like I can tell what a Cuban is. I think, what's the guy's name from Zeal? That big dude with the beard. I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Y'all can correct me on this, but the dude from Zeal Cigars, when he and Tim, long time ago when they were still doing TNT, when he did the blind Cuban test, he could taste that too. So sometimes there's a level of consistency within these leaves that you can pick out and pinpoint these notes. I think the subtle nuances of getting the chocolate or getting cherry notes or getting all that kind of stuff, it's going to depend on the individual, I think. But for the most part, some of those base notes, the coffee, the wood notes, and when you're getting some of like the more charred grilled flavors and profiles and all that kind of stuff, I think all of that is gonna, you're gonna get that baseline in most cigars. To me, I feel like with Mi Querida, I could probably pick out a Mi Querida because the earthiness that he puts into those cigars, the pepper, all of that kind of balances out, and I think you get a lot of those significantly in that. And it's almost, that's a unique blend. It kind of stands out to me, but that's just me. Hey, nah, man, it ain't no embarrassment, man. I'm glad you joining in. I'm reading everybody's comments too, so there ain't no embarrassment. I'm glad y'all are here, man. And you relate the combination you're getting to foods you've had and things you smelled before. Yeah, that's pretty much how I look at getting these flavor profiles. Pretty spot on there. Jesse said the H. Upman Herman's batch. I don't know if you're asking me or if you just kind of responding to somebody else. I don't know where that one came from. Okay, Brendan said he's lagging, but it's not terrible. What do I use to set my palate? That's a really good question, Fred. Honestly, for me, man, I usually either get like a club soda, something with some either with some acid or some bubbles in there. That works really well. Tomato juice works. Anything that has tomato juice in there, that usually can like open up your palate. But like if you have anything that's acidic, oftentimes that really like opens up your palate. You taste a lot more. Like if you get like a cranberry, you guys know how I am about my cranberry juice. Cranberry juice helps out a lot, and it's not so sweet that the sugars are going to take away from everything. That acid usually helps out. Some good water, usually helps, especially if it has some minerals in there. That helps. But once again, that's going to be subjective as well. Carpenter said, nah, that allegiance is just mid as fuck. Hey, man. Hey, okay, so it ain't just me. I was trying, bro. I really did try on that cigar. Hey, man, he said if I lose my tasting abilities, there's always infused. Nah, I don't think I'm ever going back to infused cigars. That's just me, though. I used to love the Isla del Sol, one of that infused cigar. And like I took this girl in Fresno to try cigars one time, and I was like trying to get her to taste something, and so like I started her out with the infused cigars, and when I sat with her and had that Isla del Sol, it was the most grotesque thing to me. Like it was so artificially flavored that I couldn't enjoy it. She thought it was like, oh, this tastes like cake and it's so beautiful and it's wonderful, and all. It was like nice just to get her into cigars. But god damn, man, that thing was just so off-putting to me now. I couldn't imagine going back to that. It just, I can't see that happening. Yeah, man, and I'm gonna try that Aladino again. Brendan was saying that Aladino was fire to him too. I'm gonna try that Aladino, man. So Carpenter said that Corojo zing every time, same with the Cuban twang. Yeah, man, it's they're prominent for me, and it really sets them apart from a lot of the other cigars that are out there. And I think that's why some people, when they have a real Cuban, they fall in love with it. That Serie D is probably from Partagas is probably the most prominent I've had with the Cuban twang. It's really good with the Olla de Monterreys as well. Also excellent with the Monte Cristo #2. I love that cigar, but the Monte Cristo #2 has like this tea note that and chocolate that's out of this world. When it comes to that Serie D, that Cuban twang is really like super prominent, man. It's just it's pretty cool. Brad, thank you, Jason. Brad from Zeal Cigars. Thank you. My memory with names is just trash. So I apologize on that. And DJ did a really good show talking with Brad and talking about Brad, and that was really cool. But I think I go back to when I was originally watching him, and he and Tim were doing that blind taste test with the Cuban cigars. I thought that was a phenomenal show at that time, and just the fact that his palate is so good that he could pick out that Cuban twang every time. It was really cool to see him do that. Said sherbet is really good to reset the palate. I never tried that, man, but so when the summertime comes around, I'll try that. And thank y'all for supporting me in the comments, man, and making sure I'm on point, man. That's why I'm glad to have y'all here. Rob said the upsetters flavored is not bad for some that want some of the overly sweet flavors. You know, and that's one of the few cigars out of the Nation portfolio that I didn't really mess with like that. That thing is almost like potpourri. Like when you have that around, like all of your cigars smell like it. It's a very prominent cigar. And I'm not against it, and I honestly believe that that Saka was infusing, you know, some of the brulees too. I know he swears that he wasn't, but like that sweetness that you get on your lips from the brulee blue, it like if you got a natural leaf that creates that much of an oil and that much sweetness on the palate, it's insane to be able to pull that off if he's doing it naturally. If he is, I don't know how they're pulling that off. I mean, maybe it's the natural, you know, I don't want to say sucralose, but fructose or whatever natural sugars that could be in the leaves. Maybe that's there. I don't know. I can't tell that man what he's doing with his cigars, but that shit is so prominent across your palate, it's insane. But it's a damn good cigar too. No, man, because here's the thing, Fred, with like the cigar culture in Japan it's not a lot of tobacco that's growing here, for one. And a lot of the fields that are used to grow products here is mainly going to be for rice, for one. Of course, being in Asia, that is a you know, high commodity, and it's a part of the lifestyle. And they grow like watermelon and a lot of wheat. What else? I feel like I'm missing something too. It's a lot of like orange trees, and there's a lot of fruits that are growing here. Persimmons are very prominent here. A lot of citrus fruits are grown here. So that's what they have some apple orchards and stuff like that. So that's what, like, the land here is very valuable since it's a very small island and it's volcanic and it's a lot of like rock structures. So when they do have, you know, land that's irrigated and built for growing, most of that's taken up by rice. So they're not really growing tobacco. So there's not like a lot of tobacco farms or factories or anything like that. I don't even think there's an actual, you know, what is it called? Is it hamaki? Hamaki? Anything that's like maki is rolled. I don't think there's a lot of, you know, cigars that are out here. I know there's a lot of tobacco. They smoke a shit ton of cigarettes, but I think most of that is imported. But I'll do some more research on that to find out, but that's just from off the top of the head knowledge that I have here. It's not a lot of land to really like go to a tobacco factory. I would have to get lucky one day. Maybe one of these companies decided they want to work with me and then, you know, send me out to Nicaragua or send me out to Costa Rica or something like that. Or Dominican Republic. That's the only way that's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen here in Japan. Yeah, that brulee. See, right, Roger. That brulee is. I love it too, and it's super sweet. Like if that is naturally sweet like that, it's insane. But I was using the principal cigar that I was talking about, the Black Gold. That thing is like syrupy sweet. It is a beautiful sweetness to that cigar, and I don't think that's infused with anything either. I would be, you know, surprised if they did come out and say like, yeah, it's definitely infused. He said sweet and infused. If you like sweet cigars, the fat bottom belly. Yeah, people love that whole Deadwood line. I don't really smoke it like that. That's really not for me, but people love it, and I'm not mad at them for enjoying that. And like, I don't knock anybody for enjoying infused. Like, do your thing, enjoy that. I did a review not too long ago. Actually, it was probably like over a year ago, where I got one of the famous cigars from Ralph's. That's a cigar company that is in Chicago. Uh, JJ, Fred, you guys know JJ. JJ sent that to me. He's from back home too. Another longtime friend from back home. He sent that out to me, and they do like cognac infused cigars, and they do like a lot of different whiskeys and bourbons and all that kind of stuff, and they infuse the leaves with that. And that thing, like, you take it out of the pack, you smell nothing but alcohol. Not the alcohol, but you smell nothing but the bourbon and the sweetness from that. He loves those cigars. It was a little too infused for me, and it was a little too strong, but you know, it's actually like really cool to get a cigar that was infused like that. And everybody's like blowing up using that, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger trick, but they're taking the tequila and wiping it on their cigars. So that's something that, like, maybe you should do that if you want to get an infused cigar for yourself, and try to infuse it with, you know, with those liquors. That might work. It might be a way to go. So if you're interested, try Ralph's. That's another one that's like really infused that people are going to. Yo, you can't help but love that Brule Blue, man. That's such a damn good cigar, dude. Saka got busy with that cigar. So my whole thing, man, whether that shit is infused in that cigar, man. So I'm gonna keep smoking it. That was kind of the letdown. I thought that's what the Wagashi was gonna be, and it was kind of disappointing that it wasn't like that. I was hoping it was gonna be like the Sober Mesa Brule, with more of a vegetal component and kind of focus more on the sweet side of it. But that was my own expectations, and sometimes you got to be careful when you're going into a cigar with your own expectations. That's not what it's supposed to be. And I never wanted to feel like I was disparaging these blenders for what their cigars were and what all the time that they took in it. But I watched the interview with Steve Saka recently, before he put out the Wagashi, and he was kind of talking about it, that was going to be released, and kind of talking. He seemed like he was kind of unsure of what that profile was going to be and how it was going to hit the market. But I like the fact that he's taking that kind of risk. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that he was taking that kind of chance on a cigar, and putting it out within a line that already has an established profile. That's a very bold thing for a blender and a company owner to do. And so, you know, I got nothing but respect for him doing that. It's just, it didn't work with my palate. I'm gonna try it again. It just didn't work for me. Revolver said I tried the Arnold's tequila trick. It was a waste of tequila. Well, hopefully you got some really good tequila, man, that you don't have to worry about that, man. You know, hopefully it wasn't too bad. I don't drink, so like I don't know. Honestly, what would be a really cool thing to do though, I might try it here with sake, just to see how that works. I don't drink sake, so that might give me a way to kind of like try some sake and put it with my cigars. I might see how that works out. So I might take a Wagashi and put some sake on top of that and see how that works. Maybe I can beef that cigar up. Who knows? Jason, I think that's a good thing to smoke infused and non-infused cigars, man. I don't think there's really anything negative about that at all. It's just, for me, it didn't work with my palate anymore. And you know what? That may change. You know, the way that you evolve over time as a cigar smoker is pretty, you know, it's pretty gradual and it's pretty progressive at the same time. You know, because the way that I was smoking 5 years ago is nowhere near what I smoke now. You know, like I don't think when I started out that I would have loved, you know, Foundation and Dunbar as much as I do now. But I think that time when I was chasing those peppery and stronger cigars and I was trying to get into the Maduros, I think that took me into another realm. And I spent quite a few years chasing Cuban cigars, especially when I first got here to Japan, that was the profile that I was looking for. I was looking for the vegetal notes, and I was looking for the tea leaves, and I was looking for that Corojo spice. So that has built on my palate over time. So like I know I've changed and evolved a lot as far as like what I'm looking for and what I like to taste. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna keep growing. Yeah, man. Fred, seeing how that sake is gonna work, man. I might have to try that out, man. I just bought my brother some Kyoto sake. So while we were in Kyoto, I stopped in at a train stop that they had like all these different Japanese sakes, and I bought my brother some of that. I'm gonna send it out to him in North Carolina. I want to see what he thinks about that. I don't know the name of it. I don't know if you guys know, but like if you go to if you go to Okinawa, they have this. I think it's a sake where they put the snake in it, where you got like an actual snake that's inside the sake. I sent that to my brother last year, and he fell in love with it. He said it was really good at first. He said, but now that he's like opened it several times and gotten down to the end, it's gone rancid. He said it's disgusting now. But he said when he first had it, it was really smooth and it had like a really prominent flavor profile. So for those of you who are into sakes and into different like shochus and all the Japanese whiskeys, like you know, like all that kind of stuff, like it's really an experience out here. I kind of hate that I kind of miss out on it because I don't drink. I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of flavor profiles that I'll never really get to fully understand. Let's see, Brendan said, I respect when blenders release cigars that may only be for niche smokers. And I think I feel like that's a great thing. That's a great point. Like when you're doing a full portfolio and you're trying to flesh it out, you kind of want to be able to kind of touch each corner of the market. You want to have a good Connecticut. You want to have a good, robust, you know, earthy profile. You want to have something that, you know, works for the people that smoke something sweet. You want to be able to give your audience something that they can bounce around to, and you want to hit those people that like they got a certain style of tobacco that they like, and if you give them a nice roll, they're going to be a loyal customer forever, and they're going to keep that particular cigar alive. The only thing is that sometimes they put a lot of time and effort into that cigar, and with the masses not being into it, it's like you literally only have like a certain corner of the market that's going to smoke that cigar. And Steve Saka goes into a lot of that in a lot of his interviews. His interviews are so good because he talks about the more professional side of smoking the cigars and the ins and outs of like how it affects him financially, what he's going to release, what's going to be a limited edition, what's going to be, you know, more of a regular production. And I love getting that kind of insight from him on that and seeing how that works. And sometimes like he goes out on the limb and he will take a risk, and I think that's really cool. And I think that's what he was doing with the Wagashi. So I got nothing but respect for that, man. That's a really cool thing. Roger said, I got to try the Wagashi. Got one in the humidor, but I was so bummed with the response that it got. Hopefully I'll end up liking it. And to me, that's a good thing, Roger, because like you never know where your palate is going to stand on something that most people don't agree with. You never know what is going to like really click and work for you. Like, I guess when I was talking about the Florida Sun-Grown 20-acre farm, I didn't know how that was going to be a response, but I absolutely love that cigar, and I think it's completely underrated. I'm trying to think if there any like a cigar that I love that most people don't like. I think the most polarizing cigar that I really like enjoy is the Alec Bradley Magic Toast. I stand by that cigar. I really enjoy that cigar. We were having a talk earlier about the Oliva V Milanio. I love that cigar. There's another person in here said that he couldn't really stand that cigar. So sometimes you got to go off on your own, man, and you just got to kind of see what works for you. He said, I smoked premiums for 25 years before I tried acid. Now I have an acid-only humidor. Hey, man, see, I'm not mad at that, and that's kind of a cool thing. I don't really get into the acids. I know people absolutely love the Cuba Cuba, but when I started, my thing was the Java brand by Drew Estates. That's an infused, and you know they do mint, and they got coffee and latte and all that other kind of stuff. And I think they work, and honestly, that's what catapulted me into like, you know, trying to smoke cigars and trying to, you know, figure out these different flavor notes. And the first time I had it, I was like, I can't believe I can actually taste what they're promoting on this cigar. So that's a good thing, man. It's just acid. They don't work for me, And the dead woods, they don't work for me, but people love them, and like they kill. Like even out here, at my wife's shop, they got a small humidor that they sell cigars or whatever, and they keep dead woods in there, and people love them. They're popular, so like you got to run with it. People like having flavor in their cigars, and it's a good thing. I honestly feel like when you're smoking these natural tobacco cigars, you really have to work to get the flavor profiles for the majority of them. That's why I did that flavor bomb list, because I felt like you don't have to work for those notes in those cigars. So that's the reason why I made that. I wanted people to be able to go out and they feel like if they don't really get flavor notes, they can go to Crown Heads and get a Le Carême. And if you don't taste chocolate in that cigar, I don't know what to do. I like, it's nothing I can do to help you to taste anything, because that thing tastes like a chocolate souffle, and it really is very prominent that you're gonna get the chocolate notes out of that. Same thing with the Julius Caesar, especially with the E2 Brut. You're gonna get those chocolate notes from that. Like no matter what, I could close my eyes, and if I draw that cigar, I'm like, ooh, that's chocolate immediately. And I think it's the same thing with the Kintsugi, like all those flavors are gonna be in there. Yeah, it's Fred, the thing is, like, I've been talking about this a lot, man, on the lives and a lot of the streams or whatever. My thing with, like, when people are pairing different things with their cigars, like the thing that I like to pair the most right now, if it's not cranberry juice because of the acid, is tea. And I've had some phenomenal teas that just here, just being in Japan. And there's a brother by the name of Kendall. He goes by the name Saucier on Instagram. He sent me this brand of tea that had like orange bits in it, and it had like all these different flavors, a lot of citrusy notes into it, and that thing was phenomenal. That's some of the best tea that I've ever had, honestly. And you can just keep rebrewing that tea over and over again. You don't have to just brew one time and it's done. That works so well with so many of the cigars, especially I had the Dunbarton Bewitched with that tea, and that thing pairs, because like the citrus notes, the way they combine between the two, it worked excellently. And I usually, like, if I'm just by myself, I will get a good tea and I will sit back and I'll have that with my cigars, especially since I don't drink. Tea is the way to go. I will tell anybody, if you want to pair something and if you're not into drinking or anything like that, get a really good home brewed tea. Look, you see this? They just fucking with me at this point. But yeah, I think that's the way to go for sure. Yeah, that Java Red is really good. Who was that saying that? Intercost? Yeah, that is really good, man. I did enjoy that. So like, I got nothing against like that Java line. I don't have anything against it. Every now and then, like if it push came to shove. Matter of fact, the Acid 20 was really good. The Acid 20, that was a really good cigar. When I lived in Fresno, California, this girl was just being nice to me, man. She knew that I was starting my cigar channel. She knew I liked cigars. And she just happened one day to just bring a cigar by my desk and just put it at my desk at work. And she was just like, I just wanted to get you a nice gift. And that was really sweet of her. And I really enjoyed that cigar. And then when I told her, I was like, yo, that was a cigar I was hunting for. And I really wanted to try it just because I like that Java line. And it was fantastic. It's infused. And to me, it wasn't overwhelmingly being infused either. It wasn't something that was so overwhelming I got to check my time, because I got to get out of here in a second. All right, man, I'm going to get the last of these comments, man, and I'm going to get up out of here and roll. I got to meet my wife in just a moment, and I'm still covered in smoke. So Cuba smokes, in my opinion, the 20. Oh, see? There you go. You said it 20 was nasty. I enjoyed that one, man. Acid C-Note is good. And let's see. All right, gentlemen. All right, so Roger's up out of here, man. Appreciate you, Roger. Thank you for joining in. The CAO BX3 is a chocolate bomb. I have that BX3 Intercost, and I have not smoked it yet. See, Brendan said, EKB, if you had to move back to the States, would you miss what would I miss the most about Japan? Honestly, man, oh, that's a great question. I would miss the restaurants, and just God, it's hard to kind of put that into a quantifiable way of describing it, because the way Japan works, like especially if you're in the major cities, if you're in some place like Osaka Kyoto, Fukuoka, Yokohama, Tokyo, places like that. Anywhere you go, when you're walking around, all of these buildings probably have like 10 to 15 businesses inside just one building. And you could just go down an alleyway, and when you dip into that alleyway, there's going to be a ramen restaurant, there's going to be a soba restaurant, there's going to be an Indian restaurant, there's going to be yakiniku, and every time they're going to be izakayas, they're going to be pizza places, and you can just stop in and you can just get like some dope ass food, and it's going to be some of the great experiences that you ever had. I appreciate that, Carpenter. Thank you so much, man. And also the vending machines. Like any way that you go walking down the street, you can just stop somewhere and get a drink. You can stop somewhere and get a ramen out of the vending machine. You can get candy. It's just the convenience of it is wonderful. The convenience here, like if you got Family Mart, you got 7-Eleven, Lawson's, Daily, and there are a couple more that like are really prominent in the area. You can just walk by, you can just grab an onigiri, and you can just get food on the go. It's just like, you're not gonna get that. You go to a 7-Eleven in the United States, and the only thing they got was nasty taquitos and them nasty ass hot dogs and smoked dogs. That's not what they have here. You can go and get a full meal out of the convenience here and just, you know, sit down and eat and get something on the go. You can go get a new t-shirt. Like if you spill something on you can get a new dress shirt. You can get a t-shirt. You can get new socks. You can get underwear out of the convenience. It's just convenient as hell. And that's something that I would truly miss when I leave here. The trains. Like, I mentioned earlier that I walk probably like 20,000, 10,000 steps a day, you know, while I was out on vacation. But especially when I was in Tokyo, like I could just hop on a train and just get anywhere I wanted to go. And then if I want to go from Osaka to Tokyo, I can hop on the Shinkansen, the bullet train, and I can get there in like 3 hours. It's insane. And I don't know why the United States can't figure out how to get their railroad system to work like that. I didn't need a car. I didn't drive a car for 2 weeks. I didn't need it. And I could just hop in my car, and I could just hop on the train and get wherever I gotta go. And only like, you know, a couple hundred yen at a time. You know, I just get my little Passmo card, beep, scan, hop on the train, and I'm gone. It's just, I don't know, I'm gonna miss that dearly. And Rob, what you're saying with coffee, man, like I got a homeboy that's really into making coffee, and he's phenomenal at it. And he did this thing where he poured the coffee over this silver ball that was like frozen solid, and it opened it and it bloomed the coffee that made it taste good. Normally I don't like coffee. I had that coffee straight, and I got the citrus notes out of it. I got the fresh coffee beans, the grind out of it. It was a beautiful experience, and I wish I could have smoked in a cigar in his house that day to enjoy that, and I couldn't. But it was still outstanding. It was wonderful. So that was great. Let me catch up really quick, man. Whatever these last few comments before I get up out of here. If you're ever in Portland, I'll show you some of the dope food carts. Yeah, no doubt. I want to get to Portland, man. I've never been to Portland, Oregon, and I've never been to Seattle. And those are two places that I want to go when I get back to the States. So who said that? I want to see who said that. Was that Brendan? Bet. All right. I'm going to take you up on that. I'm trying to get there. I don't know when I'm coming back to the States, but that's the place that I want to go. So we're going to do that, man. That's what's up. I know, man. I know. I want to keep rolling on this cigar, man, but I can't do it. I got to meet my wife. We got this really cool lady that's from Thailand that comes out here, and she makes Thai food, and it's lunchtime here. It's almost 12 o'clock, and she comes by in her car and she delivers us Thai food, and I got some Penang that I'm about to smash in just a moment. So I gotta leave this cigar and y'all behind to go enjoy some really good Thai food. I cannot wait. I fasted for 3 days yesterday. I didn't eat for 3 days, and I finally ate, and I can eat again. I'm hungry. I'm gonna fuck that Thai food up. I love this place just for that. That lady, her name is Gay. She's the sweetest lady in the world, and she makes some really good Thai food, and I'm about to tear that up. So look, y'all gave me 52 likes on this. Y'all sat with me for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Y'all are the best. Thank you for being a great audience. Thank you for being great friends. Thank you for supporting the channel. I will be back soon with another live, so y'all stay up and continue to smoke your best cigars, man. Y'all be good. I'm up out of here. Peace.